Hello and welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Jesse. This is Joe. Let us know you can see us and hear us, and we will get started with the show. Joseph, how are you today?
Doing peachy. We're good to go.
Good to go?
So,
sweet. All right, guys.
Lady Wolf is back in tonight. Lady Wolf, we are thinking about you and
Absolutely.
your man there. I just sent you a message. As a matter of fact, so we're in our prayers there. Everybody say a prayer for Lady Wolf and her family.
This flu has just been hitting everybody so hard lately. It is awful, awful, awful. Everybody that I know has gotten hit with it. It has just knocked them out for weeks at a time. So make sure you guys are just keeping your immune systems up and kind of keep your hands washed, take care of yourselves, because it will knock you down from what I'm hearing from everybody.
Curtis Whitaker, earlier and earlier.
Curtis.
Curtis Whitaker. That's a tradition now, man.
The great Curtis Whitaker.
Curtis Whitaker, it's gotten to the point where if you don't super chat us, we're going to have to send out like somebody to check on your well-being at that
wellness
point.
Checks.
Yeah, wellness check. So, all right.
Joe does have hair. Joe's had hair for a bit. All over. So I'm just going through the chat right now. I'm trying to catch up here. I was doing all the opening stuff, so let me do the chat now.
I got the chat.
Oh, perfect. I just want to welcome you all to Hellbent Holler Live. Again, my name is Jesse. This is Joe. This is our weekly show we do on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a free-form chat. We do outdoor paranormal investigation videos. We release those. But
Mike Barron says the live shows suck.
Oh,
Mike Barron, too bad.
Why do they suck?
I don't know. But we won't have to deal with Mike Barron anymore.
Boo.
Boo.
I think they're okay. I think they're pretty good. But we do these live shows just as a discussion platform for all of our hellbenders and anybody who wants to participate who's not a douchebag. So we're really excited to have you guys all here. And we want to discuss the video that we just released last week and that really insane thermal capture that we got. We got a couple other things we want to talk about today, but that's kind of our main thing. We want to talk about this thermal capture. I've got a good little snippet of it. I've got the video, the thermal within context of the video. So if you haven't seen the video yet, you can go after the show today and you can watch that video in its entirety. It's an hour and 13 minutes long. It is the last installation of our Laurel Creek series. We are letting Laurel Creek live for a bit, and I think we'll probably get into that a little bit after we did the premiere. Was that Tuesday we did the premiere? Yeah. Wow, time flies. After we did the premiere on Tuesday, as always, we have a members exclusive live after show that we do that the members join in on, and we just discuss the video and everybody's theories and everything. So we're going to kind of catch up with doing that right here today with you guys and the general public, so we can throw out some theories. And Joe and I will probably let you guys know kind of what happened with Laurel Creek and kind of what direction it's gone in and where we're at with it, and kind of the strange stuff we're dealing with when it comes to Laurel Creek. So, so I'm looking forward to diving into that. And I have the footage within context from the main video, and we're going to go through it frame by frame so we can take a look at it and you guys can throw out some theories about what exactly is going on, what we captured, and what this could mean. So before we get into that, I want to congratulate a friend of ours, a colleague, a family member, Mr. Dewey Edwards, on his latest book getting sent off to the publisher. We're going to show you guys this right here. Coolest book cover ever, greatest title ever. Dewey, you have outdone yourself.
10 Hours of Hell.
10 Hours of Hell.
About the Hopkinsville Goblins.
Yep, the Kelly, Kentucky Little Green Men encounter. We are really looking forward to this coming out. It's going to be awesome. Let's take a little gander at this thing. Are we seeing this? Dewey Edwards, look at this. So very cool artwork for this book. Great title, 10 Hours of Hell. I'm glad that got out of out of your brainstorming session and you got that. That's a great title. So congratulations to Dewey. Of course, when that is available, we will let you guys know, and we will probably be getting and giving away a few copies ourselves.
Yes.
To the audience. I think we should definitely do that, and we will definitely be promoting that book because it's going to be a good one. Dewey's also speaking at Goblin Con.
Goblin Con.
So if you guys can make it up to that to see Dewey speak, that would be awesome as well.
Thank you for that, Okie. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Okie.
And Paul Sherman right after that. Thank you, Paul. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Paul.
it. So if you don't mind, hit the like button. We're already getting like a few dislikes, even though the show's just started. I wonder who's
What
done
have
that.
we done?
What have we done? So if you guys could hit the like button just to kind of counteract that.
I get a mean comment and dislikes.
Douchebaggery, we would appreciate it. So
Sweet baby angels.
Sweet baby angels. So
what, did we strike a nerve with somebody?
I didn't even read the whole comment. I just kind of got partially into it, then I blocked it. So I don't even know what he might have redeemed himself towards the end of it, but it's too late. I'm too quick on my band finger's too quick.
Oh, it's so itchy. All right. I'm gonna go through some of the chat here, and go from there. And then we'll get into it, man. We will get into it. Joe, you got anything you want to add?
I got nothing. I figured I'd just sit here this week.
Great contribution, Joe. Great contribution. There is no Monday without the live show. I'm just going through the chat. Let's see here. Since Joe has abandoned his steed here. SC007, Jesse's editing skills are fire. I'm getting better and better as I go along with my editing. I do have a video coming out, I believe on Friday, that is not super edited. We received a report recently. Do you want to kind of talk about that maybe?
The one we were out just this past weekend. So yeah, we generally, this was kind of an anomaly and a good thing for us. A lot of times when we get witness reports from this region, they're usually maybe not super dated, but it's usually been like a few days. We had a couple of guys contact us from a area that we can't even hint as to where it's at, because part of the agreement for them to share the location with us is that we can't do anything to give that location away. It's
because there is private property.
Private property. It's a lot of public land and then a metric crap ton of like private land out there. And that was part of the agreement. So we can't even tell you what state it was in. It was a drive to get there, but we got the notification of it really quickly. Now, the weather that swept through the region was something we had to contend with. We were able to get in, kind of like scout the area, and then get back out. Now, we knew going in, because we went in after this weather system had swept through the region, swept through the entire South. And it's comfortable, I feel comfortable saying that, because this was like multiple states, like wide when it went through. But we went in knowing that if there were any footprints there or any tracks or any evidence, any disturbance on the ground, it would be swept away by the rain that came through. And it was to a certain extent, but we also found fresh tracks out there. And we were able to stay until the weather drove us back out, because we had another band come through that was pretty bad. There's been a lot of flooding, tornadoes, everything like that going through the South with this latest system. So, but
we were able to get in between storms, and we go over this in the video. We go out there and we're just trying to see if we can find any evidence of what these two guys experienced out there. So we go out there, and before that, it was a deluge of water coming through there. So if there's any evidence before the storm, it's gone. But there was so much mud on this old closed down roadbed that we actually found a few things. We found a few footprints out there. We found some very strange tree structures, but it was all in all a very interesting outing. And of course, a storm was coming right in. So anything that we found during that, it was very fleeting, because as soon as that next storm rolled through, everything that we captured was completely gone. So I'm glad that we were able to get out there and get that. I'm in the process of editing that up right now, and it's going to be kind of, it's going to be different from how a lot of our videos have been recently, like the Laurel Creek series. This is going to be just kind of in the moment, kind of raw. And I should have that out on Friday. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles, because we have to get this out and going quickly.
Mhm.
This is changing on a dime. It's changing right now as we go along, and we want it to be something we get out while it's fresh. So we wanted to share that little expedition with you guys. So look out for that on Friday. I think I'll be putting that out. I don't know if we're going to do a premiere or anything for it. I think
We might just release it.
we might
So,
just
yeah.
release it on Friday evening for you guys to enjoy, and I think you guys are going to really like it. Especially after all of the drama and craziness of Laurel Creek, it's kind of
Yeah,
cool to kind of go and do some Bigfoot stuff.
yeah. Laurel Creek got a little.
That's not just surrounded by crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Laurel Creek was challenging to investigate because it's extremely remote. There's one way in. The road ain't the best. It's kind of a white knuckler to get up in there. And we've had a really crappy few months as far as weather goes. This weekend being the latest example of that. But then you get up and and we've talked about it openly in the past, that the witnesses, that couple riding on horseback up there, the husband was a little extreme, a little out there from the get-go, but it was mostly being upset about what had happened to them and very offended, and kind of basically wanted to go up in there and take care of this thing that he saw, that he felt threatened him, that just kind of like shook him so badly. And then that just kind of changed after a while, and he became just erratic, and it was almost like sometimes he wanted to go up there and set the mountain on fire. Other times he was very protective of it, but very erratic. But the wife was still pretty cool, and they might even be watching this right now. I don't care. But it just became weirder and weirder and weirder with them.
We can just add them to the list of our enemies.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we don't know, because they weren't seeming like that before. So we don't know if maybe it was like their true nature coming out, or maybe it was just a reaction to what had happened to them. But anyway, just the level of just tension and weirdness finally got so bad that we were just like, you know what, we're done with this area for a while.
Mhm.
We're done. There's definitely something going up there. And we had even thought at one point, had somebody fabricated a story just to draw us up into that area.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. Oh, you know what? I mean, they may or may not have. Regardless, there's activity taking place up there. There is activity. Now, we never heard that sound that they described that they heard when that were affected to the horses. Never heard that. We did hear some really interesting vocalizations. We heard them seeming to communicate with the coyotes up there, but we don't know. But there were so many other weird things going on top of that we were just going, listen, it's obvious that we're dealing with a human element up here, which is not what we were looking for. So we ended up just kind of.
But it's so strange that, say hypothetically these people were involved in something strange, like the North Georgia cult, because we did find that symbol there in the location in Laurel Creek. That's in the video. When we begin that second night investigation, we find that symbol, that square with that X in it. We find that, and that is a symbol. If you are familiar with our channel, if you have been watching for the past couple of years, if you're familiar with the North Georgia area where we captured a burning light, where we captured the jumper gate, where we captured quite a bit of evidence, the burnt circle, the black circle, all of that stuff. Around all of these things, we have found that exact symbol. And these two locations are pretty far apart. There should be no connection, in my opinion, between these two locations that we're investigating. But that definitely raised a red flag for me that these people might be involved in something in that. But what's strange is, you could go with the theory that these people are involved in that, and maybe they were trying to lure us into some sort of strange trap or lure us to an area for one reason or the other. But that still doesn't explain everything that we experienced and we captured in the area. Namely, I saw that large, dark figure going right to left over that creek after I had kind of that effect that kind of befell me, where I was hot and I got nauseous and I got very disoriented. We were trying to get me out of there, maybe get me kind of get some food in me and kind of rest for a minute. And as we were about to get out of there, I saw this dark, blacker than black, just figure go over the creek. And I took off after it and I ran after it. Of course, Joe got caught under a log because he's much taller than me.
And I had my backpack on still, so I got wedged.
And I grabbed that camera and I just run after it, and I'm running and screaming. And it's gone. It's as if it just completely disappeared. And I was completely jacked up. A lot of people made comments about my response to that.
A lot of people were like ticked off.
A lot of people were not happy that I had that kind of reaction to it. But I had just seen a large, huge black figure go across that creek right before my eyes and then totally disappear. My adrenaline was absolutely through the roof. At one point, I look at Joe and I say, I look crazy right now, because I felt crazy. I have never had a dead-on Class A sighting, and I'm not going to say that was a dead-on Class A sighting of something like a Sasquatch.
I mean, you saw something.
I saw something.
It was quick.
I can't tell you for certain that was Sasquatch. That was Bigfoot. I can't tell you that.
The only thing we've really seen like that before, those things we saw in the LBL.
Yeah.
And
they moved differently than this moved. They were quick. They were dark. Their physicality was different.
We almost didn't even include the footage where she saw that thing because we didn't catch it on camera. But the fact that we later on caught on thermal what appeared to be an upright figure looking at us from around the tree kind of vindicated that. So we were like, and we'd mentioned it quite a bit. That pretty much just drove the remainder of the investigation, and that's why we went back into that area.
And we simply couldn't ignore it.
Yeah, so we couldn't cut it all out, but we were going, at first we were going, gosh, this is, luckily we were able to kind of vindicate again what she saw by capturing that thermal image. And we'll go through that thermal stuff a little bit later here. Ada, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I've had
Ada
that up for
Cox.
a bit. I've been trying to get to it, but thank you so much, Ada. We greatly appreciate it. People are talking about just how sketchy Laurel Creek is. Yeah, that video ended up being, we pretty much just, when the witnesses, and if they're watching, sorry things ended up the way they have. Not quite sure what's going on with you guys. We wish you nothing but the best. Same token, we wish ourselves nothing but the best, and that includes being safe and being able to get out of some of these areas. And it was, in one piece, and it was starting to feel like that was going to be a bit difficult to do in Laurel Creek. Yeah. So we ended up just throwing all of our footage together and just kind of, it was originally going to be like 2 more videos, and
I cut out a lot of stuff from that, and just to get it all out and kind of put it behind us a little bit. We have a new research area that we're diving into right now, pretty hardcore. We're ready to move on to that, and we're also getting these reports right now at a constant rate, just like this report that we just got and ran out in the middle of, in between those 2 storms and investigated. We're getting reports constantly right now. So it was definitely time to put Laurel Creek to bed and get some distance on it.
Yeah. So it's, people are talking about Laurel Creek folks are active. I don't know. Somebody even had an idea going, do you think someone up there was messing with you? Maybe the witnesses, maybe somebody else. I don't know. I do know that if somebody was trying to mess with us and they watched some of our videos, they would see that symbol figures pretty predominantly in most of our North Georgia stuff. So that's a possibility. But the only thing is that it seems like that would be placed somewhere that would be easier to find, as opposed to just off into the woods like how we went. That just seemed like we literally stumbled across it. And at nighttime, it's just kind of off in a random stretch of woods. I'm almost positive there were maybe more of them up there that we just didn't come across.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just very, very, very odd.
It took us years to go over just a small area in North Georgia and find all of the symbols that we found up there. So there's that. Keep that in mind.
So anyway, but yeah, we're done with that area for a little bit. We've got a new area that is weirder. There's some weird stuff going on out there, and that's what Jesse's referring to as Blackthorn Lake. Ain't the real name. That's what our code name for it that we kind of came up with.
I think Laurel Creek has really solidified the reality that we're putting ourselves in a different kind of danger sometimes when we're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That when people know exactly where we are, they can pinpoint us and come and find us.
Yeah.
So
we did we didn't really have much of a connection to these previous two witnesses. The person who put us in touch with them didn't even really have much of a connection with them. It was just kind of some people that they knew by association, some common hobbies. And but the people we went out this weekend, we know friends of theirs, you know what I'm saying? So we can kind of vet them a bit. So, but the rest of the time, as far as like taking witness reports, I'm sure we're going to miss out on looking into some stuff that could possibly be pretty productive, but we're just going to have to be extra cautious going forward as far as who we trust their story enough to go out in the middle of nowhere with no cell signal or anything like that and just kind of run around and investigate it. So
yeah, in areas that we don't have any familiarity with.
Oh yeah, exactly. So
we don't know if there could be some sort of booby trap in the woods. I mean, you just don't know, you know, and people are nuts nowadays.
Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. So, but the new area we've got right now is, and you know what, it's easy to walk away from Laurel Creek right now because we were already getting very invested in this new Blackthorn area that we went into. It has been weird on a couple of different levels that we've never encountered before.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some footage that we put out, just kind of like shared with some of the members. That's very weird. Some stuff we encountered up there.
And we
may release that publicly. I don't know.
I like how I'm going, we will, and you're going, we may.
We may release that publicly.
I want to so bad. I want to so bad because it's so wild.
We did a live stream and we sounded like, you think Jessie was jacked up when she, and I want to circle back to that because
circle back.
I'm just gonna be honest with people that I have lost my patience with we're actually, there's two of us out there in the dark doing this stuff. Okay. And we're in the woods all the time, and we're in the woods at night.
Is this the Festivus episode?
We don't, but when stuff like that happens, it as prepared as you are, your adrenaline dumps, it shakes you. And that's what you were seeing was that Jessie had a massive adrenaline dump, and you could tell. And my favorite one was this very snide comment going, I've been watching this channel for a while now, and it finally happened. She's gone full Zach Bagans on us. And I'm going, dude, that was a genuine.
I should have my glasses in here, and I should have
just put those on. But it was just a genuine response to it, and stuff like that's going to happen. Okay, we're not 40 people deep at a KOA campground trading stories and then walking around the perimeter with flashlights.
Eating unseasoned green beans.
Yeah, so Jessie had a sighting of something and it jolted her and she went after it. You know what I'm saying? And good for her, man. Normally I'd be yelling at her to come back, but I got caught up with it too. And I was just like, take the camera.
Go Pack goes, well, I like it when Jessie is jacked up.
Yeah, but so we did a live stream and we were more jacked up probably than that. We had a very weird encounter out there. Do you want to describe the encounter? Do you want to go and describe what happened, or do you want to keep it under wraps?
It's going to come out in a video, but we can give the Reader's Digest
thumbnail sketch. We're in this area of Blackthorn where we had a sighting reported to us once before by a fisherman. There's a lake there, and
this is after we had been doing a couple of scouting expeditions out there, a couple of investigation expeditions.
And then we got another contact. We got contacted by another guy who we have our suspicion what he was doing out there, but he got chased out of the woods by stereotypical large, dark figure, chased me out, making a lot of noise, feared for my life, typical getting chased, kind of similar to the Grove area. So we went out there and we've been checking this area out. It's extremely, extremely interesting. If you have a Hellbent Holler bingo card,
I've got to make those.
This would check all the boxes. There's tons of quartz around through there. There's water, old cemeteries, the remnants of old settlements, old homesteads. Now, this one's a little different in that there are several plantations, old plantations there that the land's been taken now at this point, so they're gone, but you can find remnants of them. lots of weird stuff going on out there. And we had heard some strange vocalizations out there a couple of nights, and even followed this lake has a lot of like small peninsulas that just jut out into it. We had followed these vocalizations down this peninsula, and the peninsula is just getting narrower and narrower and narrower as it goes. And we follow the vocalizations down to the water, and it's nothing there. And we're like, what the hell? So long story short, we're there one night. We hiked down to where we had heard some vocalizations coming from across the lake. So we're on that particular side of the lake, on that peninsula coming down. And we start hearing vocalizations from across the water again from where we had been the previous night. And we're going, flip-flopped on us. Like, what the hell, man? You know, last night we were over there. We heard it coming from here. Now we're here. We hear it from coming over there. And we're filming the whole time. And we're going, the term I used in it is it sounded like bestial voices. It sounded like gorillas trying to talk.
And it was like a
multitude of voices. It was crazy. It's bananas. It's bananas. There's a few people in the chat that have seen and heard this footage, so they can chime in with their thoughts. So we're standing there filming, trying to like figure out like, you know, what's going on. And then all of a sudden there is a single high-powered gunshot followed by just this mournful wail. This crazy, just like anguish-filled scream is what it sounded like. And then all of the vocalizations like scatter, and like you can hear them going off in different directions. And Jessie just looks at me and she just goes, I think we just heard something get shot. Did something shoot one of these? Did somebody shoot one of these things? Because we found Sasquatch prints in there. We found them in, the ground's been pretty hard with winter, but we found one on an anthill because we had one warm day and the ants just sprung up. Something stepped in an anthill. So we keep going. If there's any area with Bigfoot in it, it's here. And I was like, we need to get off the shoreline first off because we don't know who's shooting. You know, it's the other side of the lake, but still. And then I'm like, we need to get out of here because if what we think just happened actually happened, something just got shot and the rest of them are scattering across this area, probably pretty afraid and pissed off. So we had to literally just shoulder up our packs and just haul butt out of there. It has been a wild area to get into at this point. One that we're at times not even quite sure how to approach investigating.
Yeah. Just
because there's a lot of weird stuff in through there. So
and it's so huge. It is vast.
It is vast.
And the terrain is so varied throughout. And there's a lot of history to this area. We've mentioned this before, that this is the site of several plantations.
Mm-hmm.
That they have found prehistoric artifacts out there, including pottery. So, and it's not just arrowheads, they're finding pottery. They found pottery out there. So, you know, there was some sort of village or permanent dwelling there. So, so it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting place. We're already experiencing a lot of weird stuff. And I feel like the more we uncover the history of this and unpack the history of this location, that we're going to discover more. We're going to learn more about it, and it's going to start speaking to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird out there, man. It is. It's bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. Jesse's got some stuff starred here that I'll go through and kind of. Let's see here. People talking about the genuine reaction. For the people that saw that live stream, you could tell we were jacked up because we live streamed shortly after that.
Yeah.
Once we kind of got out of the area, and then everybody was just kind of like, I think some people were kind of going, maybe they're exaggerating a little bit. So then we started showing people the footage, going, no, this is literally right here.
we shared some of that footage.
And those of you that are in the chat that heard and saw that footage, you know, you can chime in with what you think. But
that's available through our membership. If we had to keep it behind there because we weren't ready to release that yet.
Yeah, and we may or may not release that out here. They're talking about you verbally crapped yourself. You can just see Jesse in that footage. I know we're kind of bouncing back and forth between Blackthorn and Laurel Creek, but just you going, ooh, 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 you know, you can't even speak at that point when you see it.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's see what else we've got here.
Somebody asked me what I was drinking. I'm drinking a coconut water. I'm hydrating, baby. It's not an adult juice. I guess coconut water is an adult juice box.
Yeah, now you don't really see kids drinking that,
Those granola parents will get their kids drinking that.
But Red says she must have epic quotes with the adrenaline rush. Yeah, man, it was an adrenaline rush. I mean, we sometimes worry about getting like paranormal fatigue because we will sometimes experience stuff out there
and we sort of gloss over
it because it's not the big thing where we're looking for that big thing. We're looking for that big moment. We want to capture really compelling evidence to share with people to kind of like move the goal, move public opinion on this stuff as much as we can. And so sometimes we have to stop and go, no, this is important, even though it's not, earth shattering. We need to not gloss over that. So even with having like that kind of like being a little calloused to some of this stuff sometimes just from experiencing a lot of it.
Yeah.
You sometimes just have, sometimes have things happen that make your adrenaline just super dump at that point, Let's see what else we've got here.
Yeah, my favorite one was where I just do this and I just go, I look crazy right now.
Do I look crazy right now? And I'm like, yeah, a little bit. You look a little crazy.
Yes, honey.
You look a little crazy. You're a little jacked up right now. But Lady Wolf, best model on the planet. Jesse's a badass no matter what anyone says. People are just jealous because Jesse can and does do what they won't do. Too bad, so sad for them. Yeah, it's weird. We were getting a lot of, anytime you do, our paranormal stuff doesn't necessarily get it, but the Bigfoot stuff, man, you get like Monday morning quarterbacks like nobody's business. And whenever anybody's ever asked us like, hey, what advice would you give somebody trying to get started in this? I'm like, do whatever in the hell you want to do.
Use that block button.
I'm saying, but just as far as like investigating goes, do whatever you want to do. Don't worry about
do it your own way.
Don't worry about what other people do because nobody has proved anything yet. We've all caught like little puzzle pieces, some of us more than others, but nobody has definitively proven anything yet. So quite honestly, your approach is as good as anybody else's out there. So do it, So, all right, let's see what else we've got here.
I might pull up that thermal footage in a minute.
Pull up the thermal footage here in a minute. So we're going to share that thermal footage.
Oxkira says,
I'm sorry.
We were doing that exact same time.
Buddy JD Smooth, people don't realize seeing these things shakes you no matter how long you've been going on the woods, no matter who you are. Indeed, man. It shook Jesse. You could tell. You could definitely tell.
Yeah.
And if you hear me, because I'm trying to be overly calm to try to like, because I can tell she's jacked up. So I'm just like, I know everything's okay. We're going to get you some,
I think I've got one of those like brain worms that has eaten my fear center down a little bit, like the core of an apple a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I have a tendency to just jump in and not really think about what I'm doing. Hence, I ran after a giant dark shape running into the woods.
Yeah, but at the same token, it's, and you know what, that may or may not have been, at the end of the day, sometimes we look at the situation and we go, this is dangerous. We need to move back, circle around, approach it from a different time. But something like that, daylight, you just saw it. Come on, man. If you could get like good footage of that, I mean, that goes a long way. So
we're working on it.
All right.
You go through that chat. I'm going to cue this up.
Yeah. So what we're going to share tonight is, and this came out in the video that Jesse just released, which is the latest Laurel Creek video. If you haven't had a chance to watch that, if you have watched it, do us a favor and like it. We didn't really have a lot of stuff coming out for a bit. And we kind of like fell off the radar with like YouTube. So if you get a chance, go check that out, watch it. And let us know what you think. Now, what Jesse's got here is the thermal footage that we caught. Yeah. And for those of you who didn't see the video, Jesse sees that black figure. We go set up for night. She had like a weird thing where she was getting like, flushed, and then she was almost turning blue at one point. And then she was like, it was just really weird. And then she saw this figure. We got out, set up for night, came back in, and heard some crazy vocalizations that night. And what happened is we were moving into a what looks like it was a clearing at one point, but it's being taken over by young pine trees at this point. So it's very thick in there. And we were hearing vocalizations. coming from 2 different directions. And then we were hearing coyotes coming from a 3rd direction. And then it seemed like all 3 of them were starting to move into where we were. So we backed out of there and we tried to come in from a different angle. We couldn't ever find a route to come in that was a little bit more open. So we left because we didn't feel safe. But then we got ticked off. And out of spite, we came back the next night a little bit gunned up and better prepared and came in. And while we were there that time, we heard some stuff. We heard some other strange things. But then Jesse got a very strange thermal image that looks to, there's some weird stuff going on with the thermal image. But then it also looks to be a upright figure kind of peering around. Now it's not right.
Now, what happens before that upright figure peering around the tree is, let's just watch the video.
All right, go ahead.
And then we'll go into it. So this is the full 2-minute clip, and then we'll go back and we'll go through it frame by frame, and let's just take a look at it and let's go into it.
Tracker mixes coconut water with white light.
I just want that coconut, baby.
Tracker, you wild man.
All right, let's take a look at this. We're gonna watch the whole clip going through first, and then let's track back. Joe, you can give me some points to go back to, and we'll just take a look at this.
Are you seeing something?
I don't know.
Are you recording?
I am. I am recording.
Are you getting a heat signature?
I think I am. It's very weird. It's... It's humanoid in shape.
It's what?
Humanoid in shape.
Where is it?
Up ahead.
Let's move up to it. Let's move up to it.
I'm recording. I can't... I don't know. It's up on a hill.
Right up where my light's at?
It's up on the hill. It's to the right. Like up in the woods, up on the hill.
Tell me if I open your other eyes, my light where it's at?
Go right.
To the right?
Go right.
Right there?
Up on the hill. Go right.
Yeah,
right? There.
Huh?
It's up there.
That's in the trees, Jess.
That's up on the hill. There's a hill ahead. That's not in the trees. That's up on the hill.
Let's go towards it. Come on.
Hold on. Let me say this.
All right, so I'm gonna back that up, and then we're just gonna kind of go through that. I'm gonna take a look at the chat and see what you guys are thinking right now, in terms of where we're at with it. So I can go through frame by frame.
Yep.
So we'll go through it frame by frame, take a look at it. So what's very interesting to me, and we'll kind of go through this a little bit at a time. What's really interesting to me is seeing this weird figure kind of on the left of the tree before whatever it is pops out to the right.
And again, we're gonna say this. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it is we caught. Jesse, so the couple supposedly saw a stereotypical Sasquatch. Okay. We'd heard some weird vocalizations that we didn't see what made those vocalizations, so we can't say for sure what it was. Jesse saw a large, upright, black figure running, and then we catch this thermal. So the thing about this thermal is that we go up towards where she saw the thermal at. We go up the hill towards it, and it disappears. And some people have gone, well, maybe it was a person. And I'm going, we were making a ton of noise moving through the woods, and whoever this was, they managed to then evade the thermal for the rest of the evening. They didn't make any sound moving off. They just kind of vanished, it seemed like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very weird, but I'm going to say this right now. I think it's highly unlikely that it was a person. Some people have gone, well, maybe it was one of those witnesses. Maybe it was the husband.
And we'll kind of get into that when we get to see the upright figure, why we think that's not a person.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the first frame of the going through. You've got the beginning of it here. All right, Joseph.
Okay.
We're just gonna.
So you see that there's something
Moving.
moving, and it almost appears to be
And there we go.
almost on like horizontal, like on all fours almost. And I've heard a couple of really good theories for this. At first, people were going, maybe you did catch a Sasquatch, and that's a second Sasquatch on all fours, because you hear that quite a bit, that they travel through the woods on all fours, and that's how they're able to get through tighter areas and evade detection as well as they do. But then somebody else said, well, it seemed like the coyotes were communicating it with it. Maybe it was a coyote with it, you know? But then I'm going, how did the coyote get out? What were you?
I just wanted to see what the live chat was. What was happening
Okay.
with the live chat?
So
because I can't see anything over here.
Anyway, EDP wants to know, can you see it? It's to the circle right there. That is where people thought that something was like on all fours, right through there. Just because you can tell it's more horizontal than anything else. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We're just advancing one frame at a time through this.
Hunting for hookers outdoors. What's the other white heat signature? That appeared, you can kind of see it grow. There's no vehicle through there. It's we don't know what it is.
In the woods.
It's just a heat glow in the woods at that point. It's not residual heat from anything, because you see it kind of spread.
So I'm going to go back one here. And then now we're going to start seeing whatever the figure is on the right emerge from the right side of that tree there. And you can see that they're not connected. You know, I guess they're independent of each other. And then it starts to emerge from the right side of that tree there. And that's when we get a full upper part of that body there. Now, the hill is up here. That's a hill right through there. And there's a lot of brush and everything through here. But that is a hill right there. So whatever this is has some elevation to it.
Somebody says bird at night, raccoon. No, that is not a bird at night or a raccoon. I don't know what that is, but that appears to be a bipedal shape at this point. So if it was a person,
and then it goes,
they're not exhibiting the heat signature of a human out there wearing a coat or wearing any clothing at all.
And then back out.
Yeah, it's a pretty uniform heat signature, which is odd.
Yeah. Now, what's weird is like behind whatever this is, it seems like there's a little heat behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing. And it kind of like flares out. And I'm still not quite sure what that is. A few people were discussing theories on it, but it's bizarre. It's very, very, very bizarre. We don't know what it is, but it is exhibiting what appears to be that classic tree.
So at this point, I do get it off to the side because I'm trying to get it to reset just to make sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I'm in a bit of shock here, and now I'm going back, and it's still there. Still there. And then it looks like it raises its arm in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say, somebody was suggesting that this could perhaps be a person standing up there. They would have to be completely naked for it to be red like that.
There's no, because when you're getting people, and especially in the wintertime, you're wearing pretty thick clothing, and that minimizes your body heat coming off you. You can still see it. It's just your hands and your face, your head are very, very hot by comparison. And this is extremely uniform, which is just weird. I don't know. I don't know what it's I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's very bizarre. And whatever it was got away from us pretty effortlessly without making any noise at that point. So I'm not sure what it was. So I don't know.
Yeah. So, but we kind of wanted to go through that a little bit and check it out. But yeah, so we have no idea what this is. We have no clue what this is. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff you guys are saying in the chat. If you guys have any kind of theories or anything like that. There was some interesting theories proposed during the members live after the premiere of the video that I think Joe mentioned this a couple of minutes ago about something working in tandem with the coyotes. that was pretty interesting.
When we first heard the way that a lot of this started to unfold is we were getting ready to do, because we had seen previously up there, the place had it all. We'd seen these like balls of light come out of the trees. And we did that on a live stream. Everybody watching that live stream got to see the same thing that we saw, these balls of light coming out of the trees. So we went back up there with all of our like UFO and orb hunting stuff. We had the psionics, like night vision cameras. We had like all sorts of stuff. We go up there and we're setting up. We're going to do a live stream. And that's actually a very good, the yellow looks like hot breath on thermal. Could you remember? That's actually... that would have to be a lot of breath on thermal.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, though. So we were geared up to see if we could kind of film these balls of light that we had all seen. And when we're getting set up, we start hearing this really weird screaming vocalization coming. So we go live like early. We're using our satellite uplink to stream from up there. And we catch it 2 more times. And then and what's happening is it's these long, drawn out, very powerful vocalizations. And then all of a sudden, the coyotes behind us start answering back very aggressively. And the way I interpreted that is that whatever this is making these vocalizations, it's ticking off the coyotes. And from a safe distance away, they're like also announcing their presence. Like, hey, we're here. It's like we're hearing 2 predators basically sound off at each other. And the coyotes are doing it because they're a safe distance away. Because whatever the first vocalization was sounded big. I don't know what it was. It sounded big. And the analogy we came up to is it's like when somebody's walking a very large dog down the street and there's a tiny dog safe behind a fence, and it's the most aggressive thing you've ever heard. It's just barking and going crazy at this larger dog. And it normally wouldn't do that, but it knows it's safe.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I was going, the coyotes are sounding off so much because they're a safe distance away from this thing. And they're just kind of announcing back to it that they're here. And I'm hearing like a call and response thing going on between whatever this is and these coyotes. And then when we were in that pine thicket, we're hearing vocalizations come from 2 directions. And then we're hearing the coyotes answering, and they all start getting closer. And I'm going, and Jesse just out of the blue goes, it sounds like they're coordinating right now.
Because this is when we back out of there. We're getting out of that area. Yeah. And you're like, we need to get out of here. And I'm like, do you think they're coordinating?
And I'm just going, everybody hears the stories of like coyotes running with Bigfoot. You hear them with Dogman too, coyotes and wolves running with Dogman. And they're good stories, but I've never encountered anything that really made me think that there could be any truth to any of that. And I still don't know that there's any truth to any of that, but I can tell you what we experienced and what it sounded like is that there was Jesse was right. There was some coordination going on. What the hell's up with that, man? I mean, it's a story and you always hear it like second and third hand repeated, but I'll be damned, that's what it sounded like that night. That's honestly what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Is that something sounded off, the coyote sounded off, and then all of them start kind of getting closer. It's weird, man. It's very weird. So and the beautiful thing is that it was really cold up there. So when you're really cold up there, a lot of times in the summertime,
it's a lot easier to use that thermal and actually get a good image when it's colder out there. Because during the summertime, it's almost useless, especially with the amount of humidity that we have in this area. I'll use the thermal in the peak of summer and everything looks exactly the same. We really can't get anything to stand out very well because it's so hot and so humid. All that water vapor in the air kind of creates a barrier between me and anything that would put off heat. So I get very faint heat signatures in the summer. So I love using that thermal in the wintertime because you have that high contrast situation, especially kind of late at night after everything that has been touched by the sun, rocks, trees, they've had time to cool down a bit. So if it's late at night and it's cold out there, that's the perfect time to really be able to pinpoint if you have anything else out there with you. I can see a mouse from a great distance away with that thing just kind of bouncing through.
Richard Sharp want to know if there was infrasound with this side. We didn't have the infrasound detector. Even if you're using it, it's with the portable mode where you've just got it running off a battery and there's no associated computer and you're just going by the built-in readout. You still have to set it up, let it stabilize. It's not something you can really use on the move.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that. That has to be when we're doing like a stationary like setup that we use it. So, and again, you guys know my feelings on infrasound. I'm not sure infrasound is what's causing the zapping effect, but I will say this. Those of you who are watching that live stream, when we were running the infrasound detector up there and we heard some weird vocalizations, and then we heard the coyotes go off, and then we heard the weird vocalizations, I was getting infrasound spikes with the weird vocalizations. Now, again, I don't think that anything out there using infrasound is probably using it like the rest of the animal kingdom uses it. It's using it for communication. It's not using it as an offensive or a defensive weapon. I don't think that's the zapping. I think that's something more exotic and something weirder going on. But listen, we were hearing vocalizations, things like call to each other over a distance, and we got infrasound spikes. I could see infrasound being used like that. Now that makes sense to me.
So a few people are asking about how far away from us was whatever this was on that heat signature. The tree itself is closer to us. I couldn't tell you. I say if we go back up there.
We'll have to take them. Our next thermal is going to have a rangefinder on it. We've already talked about that because it's real difficult, and especially at night.
If we go back up there, I'd like to go to the exact spot because I know exactly where on the trail we were when I caught that. I'd like to go to that exact spot, maybe put you up on that hill.
Yeah.
And we can
Well, we got to wait a while before we can get back.
With a thermal, and then maybe we can kind of see what somebody of your height would look like on a thermal from there.
Yeah. But it could be anytime soon. So, and Oki's heard the same thing, that Bigfoot use coyotes to hunt. And again, I've heard all those same stories, but it's always just that. It's just stories. It's difficult to get first person accounts on it or anything like that. But again, I mean, for those of you that are on the live streams, you heard the vocalizations and then the coyotes like also going off at the same time. Very weird, very, very weird. And again, at first I thought it was kind of like a challenging type thing to, whatever this was, and the coyotes kind of doing a challenging call across to each other. Hey, I'm in these woods. Hey, I'm in these woods too,
Yeah.
But then afterwards I'm going, maybe those stories aren't that crazy after all, man. I don't know. So.
Flat Rock thinks it's closer than up the hill because he uses a thermal all the time. So it could be. I don't know. We don't know for sure. We headed that way and there was nothing
coming out from around that tree, man. So I'm going to disagree with you on that, Nutslap. I don't think it was a deer. It's too elongated for a deer. We see deer on thermal all the time. We watch deer on thermal all the time because it's cool, even if nothing's going on, to watch deer on thermal.
Yeah.
And it does not have the appearance of a deer on thermal. I don't know what it is. But I don't think it was a deer. And if it was a person, it is somebody who was naked and was maneuvering without the benefit of a flashlight or night vision or anything like that. So, we run back into that big naked hillbilly theory, you know what I'm saying, that are able to just move through the woods silently with no clothes on. And
Pork Chop suggests he was more worried it was Ma and Paul Crank Cooker up there watching
you. So
the naked meth cookers up there.
Yes, indeed. So talking about leaving me out as bait. So, but Elastic Machinery had asked, yeah, we have a device that's able to measure infrasound, because I always had.
We used it in a live investigation a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
If you want to check that out, Joe had this piece of machinery custom built. You can talk about that. Sorry, I interrupted.
That's okay. But it's I never thought that the infrasound explanation explained the zapping effect that people experience. It just doesn't make sense, because people approach it from such a just not understanding what infrasound does, and it's just misattributed quotes and just bad info. So I was just going, the only way to prove it is to get something to measure infrasound. You can't record infrasound on a recording device, because most recording devices don't go below 20 hertz, because it's all based upon like the range of human hearing. If you've got a digital audio recorder, you want it to record something so you can play it back and hear it. So usually they go 20 to 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So it's, but yeah, we have a device that we use, and quite honestly, we've never really picked up infrasound before. but we picked up a couple of spikes of infrasound when we heard some of those weird vocalizations that night. But again, every animal in the animal kingdom that uses infrasound doesn't use it as a defensive weapon. They use it to communicate
Over long distance.
over long distances. And I'm hearing two things like bellow kind of each other here, and I'm catching spikes. It makes sense, you know? So, all right. Go through here.
Jeff Matlow, Wildcat Tattoo says, just got here. Did I miss Joe's
I
flags?
thought I had a flag out here.
You
I
had
thought
a flag
I-
right there.
My flag fell.
Did you forget your flag?
I need to have my flags just permanently like stationed like right here between the two of us. There we go.
A small potted plant to plant your flag.
Those flags are gonna get used, damn it, if it kills me.
You know
So,
what? We're gonna have to use the flags. We should have taken them out
Yeah.
when we went out for that last expedition to follow up on that report. We were kind of in a time crunch because it was between the end of one storm and the beginning of another one. William Kennedy has some gems. on
William
here.
Kennedy has been on fire all night.
I've
What's up,
been
Blondes and
saving a
Booze?
bunch of good ones.
What's up,
What's
Blondes
up,
and
Blondes
Booze?
and Booze?
How are you guys doing tonight?
I've been saving a bunch of his.
We need to literally just have a William Kennedy version of just a William Kennedy like line of T-shirts with just random quotes.
I'm trying to catch up. Lord, I'm way behind.
The woods are alive with the sounds of cannibal Bigfoot is one of them.
Here's one. Devices. Yes, devices. I think everybody's kind of discussing.
Tear Dog, it said in the last video, I had some crazy eye shine reflections, debunked or unexplainable. We have not debunked them, but we don't know what they are. They're not stars. They're just like little weird flashes of light in the woods that appeared to be kind of like I don't know. It seems like it was reflecting our light back at us at one point, and then another time they seemed like just self-illuminated. I don't know. I don't know what they are. We don't know if it's one of them kind of looked like eye shine. Another one looked like more of like a singular type light in the woods, but it might have just been that with the distance they were, the two of them being fairly close together, just kind of merged into one. I don't know.
I'll tell you
They have not been debunked, but we also don't know. Just like all of this stuff, it's not debunked, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the thing is we get home. I didn't see the eye shine until
Yeah.
I'm doing the review of footage. So Miranda Crew, the people are revolting. By the way,
what about what?
time for a knife check.
I actually moved our knives down here, so I was banging into it.
I was smashing into mine.
Yeah, so
All right, Joseph.
I've got an old school cold steel military, which is like gorgeous. And it's based off of Randall Knives design. We got this off our buddy Denim Devil, who is the official knife dealer of Helm and Holler. And it's a shame because I don't carry this in the woods. It's too pretty. It's too gorgeous of a knife.
I don't want you to carry that.
Yeah, I'm not
noise.
carrying this in the woods. It's too good looking. It'll remain in the drawer and just be beautiful and pristine and gorgeous. But it's double edged. It's a really wicked blade. So
I have a cold steel mini Tanto. It is a teeny tiny cute Tanto. It is awesome. It is a Ventura, actually a made in Japan one, isn't it?
yeah, it's made in
Yep,
Japan.
that's a made in Japan one. That was when their marker had Ventura, California still on it, but that is a vintage mini Tanto. And look how tiny it is. It's perfect for my hand.
It's a tiny little Tanto.
It's a teeny tiny little Tanto. But yes, and it's even got the old sheath with the Velcro on it.
Better with the Irish. Y'all compliment each other very well out there as a team. I love it. Thanks for being a member for 6 months. Better with the Irish. We
Thank
greatly
you.
appreciate it. So, let's see what else we've got here. Drustakar, I think you remember once before. Thank you for coming back.
Drustakar.
But so again, like I said, I don't think that thermal is a deer. If it's a person, they're naked and they're moving with no visible means of being able to see out there. I don't know. Is it a Sasquatch? I don't know. We don't know if what Jesse saw was a Sasquatch. It vanished pretty freaking quick, and we were having trouble moving back through there. Some people were asking if it left tracks through there, but the ground was so spongy, and I think you even included that in the video, didn't you? Where I hit the ground and go, the damn ground's spongy. You're not gonna be able to
Early
pick
in the day
tracks
in that
back there.
area, yeah.
So At this point, I don't know. And it sucks because I would like to get back in there and investigate it further. But again, the human element has gotten so bad that we've got to step away from it for a bit. And I can't even say we'll try to sneak back in there because I think that human element is up there all the time.
Yeah.
So it don't matter if we don't go for a week, a month, 3 months. I've got a feeling that whatever weirdness is going on up there, it's pretty consistent.
But I think eventually we have to go back.
Yeah.
We have to go back up there and maybe just do a Laurel Creek revisited, you know, because I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions about what this could be. I would love to do that experiment where I put you up on the hill and then I stand exactly where I got this. And then we can get kind of that gauge of what you're 6'4". So it would be interesting to see what a person.
I'm 6'3".
6'3". You've lost an inch.
No, I've been 6'3". I think you just want me to be 6'4".
I'm willing it into existence.
Willing it into existence.
But I'd like to do that experiment where we put you up on that hill and kind of see what you look like in that approximate location on the thermal, and I could be at that exact location. But that's the thing is you have to be able to go back up there and then redo it and redo it and redo it. So hopefully we can do a return to that area. Flashlight check. No.
Actually, we need to start doing flashlight checks, but I just don't know how you would do it without just completely burning my camera out there at this point. All right, let's see what else we have got here. Man, William Kennedy is on freaking fire tonight. Freaking fire. It's going through
I'm trying to catch up.
I know, man.
We've had
over 500 people for most of the night.
Oh,
Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
So.
Now, take this time to hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. Make sure you share the show with your friends. And tell your loved ones about Hellbound. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I do want to say
we're having a flag holster coming up now, for God's sake. So, all right.
We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. We're ramping up some things, and we've got some announcements in the future. But yeah, I think we're kind of coming into an interesting phase where we've really upgraded our cameras a lot recently.
Yeah, we were going on a different route with our equipment upgrades, and then my main camera started getting cracks in it, so we needed to kind of get that replaced real quick. And then we were just like, we need to go ahead and do some other camera upgrades. So we've got some new camera tech that we're using out there, which is paying freaking dividends at this point, man.
The start of this Blackthorn Lake series is going to be the premiere of our new camera setups, kind of coming into use. I'm really excited about that because I got a new camera too. I've got a handheld camera that is pretty versatile that I've been using, and I've been able to capture some really fantastic footage with it, and kind of bring you guys along for that adventure.
Kathy Grant had asked, any idea what that barking sound was when you were talking about having a headache? No, we don't know what any of the vocalizations were up there. It was.
I mean, we could speculate all day long, but again, we don't. Here's what we're doing: we're observing and reporting. That's all we can do at this point until we have a moment where we actually see what is happening, what is creating these sounds.
I can tell you, and here's the deal: even then, you got to leave a little wiggle room, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people want to grab what happens and just build a narrative and run with it. All we can tell you is what was reported to us, what we personally experienced, and then go from there. Do I think that there's something weird going on up there? There's strange activity. There's high strangeness going on in Laurel Creek. There is. There's weird stuff going on. We've seen strange lights. We've caught weird vocalizations. Something's going on back there with like some of those like stick and tree structures that we're seeing. The thermal was weird. There's weird stuff going on back in there. Even though the original witnesses said they saw a Bigfoot, I don't think they were hoaxing us. I think something happened to them up there. But I'm going to tell you this right now.
But you have to consider every possibility, of course.
Well, I'm considering this possibility, that they didn't see a Bigfoot. That something else happened to them, and that's the memory they have of it.
That's dark.
That is dark. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm leaving it. It's just weird stuff.
Hunting for hookers outdoors. We're still trying to figure out, are you
we looked at his YouTube channel. Remember?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I
So.
still have hope that you've got some most dangerous game situation going on out there.
So. Thumping Weavy, my husband and I have been following you guys for a while now. Him more than me, but we all enjoy your videos. Thank you. Welcome to the channel.
Like a most dangerous game with the ladies of the night situation.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's see here.
We got some others on there too.
That you've started?
Mm-hmm.
Miranda Crew, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Miranda.
Hand warmer fund. We're going to be into like ice water fun before too long here.
Yeah,
so
we're not looking
hot
forward to
weather's right
that.
around the corner. We're not looking forward to it. Thank Frokers, thank you. Join the membership
Thanks,
and that. You're quite generous of you. Let's see.
Richard Sharp, I got this one in a second. If you want to keep going, I'm going to grab something real quick here.
Okay. Hunting for Hookers says, been stomping the South Carolina mountain woods a long time. Some crazy stuff. There's some crazy stuff in South Carolina. The thing that I've always find interesting about when you look at like the maps of reported Bigfoot activity, North Carolina's got a bunch, Georgia's got a bunch. And then it just kind of like, you've got South Carolina kind of like nestled in the middle, and there's not a lot of sightings reported through there. And I'm just like, people always just go, there's nothing going on in South Carolina. And I'm going, there's stuff going on in South Carolina. Nobody's reporting it.
Yeah.
People don't report it.
And we really found that out when there was that sighting in I guess you would call it the Midlands.
Mm-hmm.
It was close to Clinton, South Carolina. I think it was Newberry County that this occurred. But there was that sighting down there, and people just flocked down there, overran it.
Some poor hunter made the mistake.
Ruined the hunting season for so many people down there.
Some poor hunter made the mistake of making a report of the Sasquatch sighting he had, and it went viral. And people from all over the country came there and just flocked and just ruined these people's hunting season, trespassed on private property. It was just...
And pretty much everybody I knew was asking me, are you going to go investigate this? And I was like,
nope,
absolutely not.
So
No,
we're not going down there.
I remember back when people were really going hot and heavy on the URI, and it was just like groups of people out there like yelling at each other,
Mm-hmm.
I do have one here from Richard Sharp because I need some helmet hauler attire. Well, Richard, you're in luck, sir, because we have a shop. Bam. I had to get the link for that, but
I think Lady Wolf had already beat you.
oh well, I'm slow.
Lady Wolf is on the...
Never mind. All right, well, I'm calling it a day.
You ain't beating
I'll
the
see
wolf
y'all.
here, man. So. But, and Ghetto Yeti was talking about time to cultivate a team member who just does security, leave you free to scope things out. You should see me out there sometimes. I have two headlamps that I wear. I have a standard headlamp that has white light, red, green, blue. And then I've got like a high intensity white headlamp on as well. And sometimes I'm filming in one direction. I've got my headlamp on my one direction, and I've got my 10 in hand. And I'm just kind of like multitasking like that.
That sounds like the beginning of a rap song.
It does sound like
with
the
my
beginning
tin
of a
in my
rap song.
hand.
Kidding us. Thank you for that. But they, we've often talked about that. It's difficult to do, to introduce somebody into it. Because I mean, we don't agree all the time on everything that we do or everything that we think out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen the video. We'll kind of get into it with each other sometimes, but we're married, so we get over it very quickly. It's
easy to coordinate things too.
Yeah, but it's also that we're very opinionated, we're very crazy, we're very psycho, we're very obsessive, we're type A personalities that just kind of, and it's difficult to introduce somebody else into that and want them to put up with that.
Yeah.
And then when people are, because again, when we're out there, she might have something she wants to do, I might have something I want to do, and we both feel very passionately about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of us will win and we'll do what we want to do. But if you introduced a third person to that, they're just going to go, I don't want to do this with you guys. You guys are freaking nuts, man. So far, we've been out with like Alex Petikoff. We do real well in the field with Alex because Alex works really well with us, and we work really well with him, I think. We've
got out in the field with Katie. But again, the coordinating everything is difficult too. You and I are always together, so it's a lot easier to do that. You've got another party involved. They have like families and hobbies and all that other stuff that we know nothing about.
Yep. So thank you for that, Robin. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Robin.
And Tear Dog, towards the development of Joe's pristine Bigfoot hotspot research reserve. I keep holding out, man. I keep holding out that eventually, because when we first got into this, it was, we wanted to look for Bigfoot and we kept finding other weird stuff. And actually on a live, like a few weeks ago, I had said something to the effect of just like, out of like everything we've looked into, we found tracks and we've seen, like you saw that black figure, we've had things happen, but we haven't had a class A up close Bigfoot sighting. We got a real good thermal image of what might be a dogman in the LBL, but we have not gotten
like I see it. I see it before me. I see its eyes, its fur.
And
I see it.
It's frustrating because, and to be honest with you, if somebody put a gun to my head and went, "Are the Cherokee little people real?" I'd go, "Yes, absolutely, absolutely they are." I think at this point, yeah, they are. They are. But I always go back to Bigfoot going, listen, I had a sighting of something when I was a kid. And I always say, I don't know whether I got pranked or hoaxed or I dreamed it. So I don't know, but we haven't had that sighting yet. But we want to find so bad just that Bigfoot hotspot with no other weirdness going on. No weird lights, no weird camera malfunctions, no weird battery drain, nothing. So I just want to look for Bigfoot, man. Is that so wrong?
Is that so wrong?
Is that so wrong? With my flags, bust the flags out.
I don't know though. Like even if, like you saw how tripped out I got about that figure. I don't even know what that was. Even after doing this for this long and wanting to see something like that, I want to see something like that. Class A, I'd love to have that. You don't know how you're going to react. You don't know how you're going to process it. You might. I mean, you're pretty honest with like, how you would assess things and stuff.
Hey, you never know.
I'm very mercurial.
Yeah.
I feel like I would. I don't know how I would react. I don't know because you feel like you prepare yourself for it. Like, okay, I could handle this. I could do this. I don't know if I actually see one and the walls come tumbling down and I'm just done. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a goat farmer after that. I don't want to do this anymore.
Goat farmer?
Yeah. Goats are cute. Little baby goats.
Goat channels.
They jump. They yell.
Hunting for Hookers wants to know if we use onyx. I think I asked this before. I don't remember. I can send you guys 3 pins you might find interesting.
I do use onyx.
Would you use
onyx? I do. I do.
If you want to shoot some pins over, how about holler@gmail.com?
Yep, I do use onyx. I use a couple of different apps as well as our Garmin GPS maps. We have our GPSs, and then I have a couple of mapping services too. Onyx is great because I can figure out where private property lines are, and I know where I'm at in relation to those if we're doing any sort of scouting of an area, so we can know that we're always legal and not going to get shot by an angry homeowner.
Joe, do you think that they were imprinted with screen memories like in government mill labs? I think that there's a real good possibility. I don't think it was anything government involved, but I think there's a real good possibility that they're remembering. They think their horses got stunned, but they were okay. I don't think that was the case at all. I stand by that. I don't think that was the case at all. I think that there's a real good chance that what they remembered is not what happened. Something happened, but I don't think that and I don't think they're lying to us. I think that's the way they remember it. I just don't think that's really what happened. And I stand by that. So, yeah. And I don't think it was anything to do with the government. I think it was just, I think there was an implanted memory. I think there was some sort of screen memory.
Do you think I got implanted memoryized?
No.
Is that a word? That's not a word. I could have. Look at me. I'm susceptible.
You can't ever say no. It's impossible.
One day we'll have to tell you guys about the weird government program I was in when I was a kid.
God, yeah. Let's save that for later. Anyway, we do a lot of checking of time on stuff, and we do a lot of, we carry a personal locator beacon with us, which constantly transmits our position and when we were there and the distance we're traveling and the speed we're traveling and everything like that. And then we review that afterwards looking for weird anomalous stuff. So we have something we have something kind of in place to check out in case anything like that ever happens to us. So Well,
got
nut slaps
I got some
apparently.
stuff marked on here too.
Nut slap's always the belle of the ball on this chat here. The belle of the nut slap, belle of the ball.
Is that nut slap? I heard him coming.
All right, let's see.
I got some stuff marked on there. I'm trying to get
All
on to the end. Huzzah!
Huzzah! Okay, let me
Yes.
find what you got marked here.
We'll bang those out.
Suji.
Suji.
Yeah, the thermal image of a husky sleeping in the snow. Its thermal image doesn't show most of its body. It's so well insulated. I can't talk. Whatever this is, it's giving off a very uniform heat signature. So, keep in mind that even in the mountains up where we're at, it gets cold, but it's not like husky cold. So, but whatever this was, it was very similar to what we saw walking in the dark corner when we got that where I was just going, I'm either looking at a Bigfoot or this is a 7-foot tall naked hillbilly that's just moseying through a real thick patch of woods on the side of a hill with no visible means to navigate through the night. And I don't know which is scarier. 7-foot tall naked hillbilly.
I'll take
Bigfoot.
I'll take the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, but again, it was just whatever it was. They weren't wearing clothes. So.
Jerry Carter's goes, I've been away a while. Is that Joe's dad?
So, two shadows, like how you go in depth on what you capture on film, no jumping the gun. We'll sometimes theorize, but we try to not. A lot of people start with what they want to happen, the narrative they want to happen, and then they build everything around that. With us, it's just, a lot of what we find is suggestive of Bigfoot, but.
That's why I always like to put that question. Did we do
Did we?
this?
I don't know.
What
Did
do
we?
you guys think? And that's what we like to, that's one thing we definitely do with our members when we have these members discussions is we can kind of just speak off the cuff and everybody can kind of throw a bunch of random ideas out there about what it is. And we really be open and honest about, is this what we think it is? Could it be? What else could it be? And kind of just bandy about different ideas about what it could be. Michael Tovar asks Jesse and Joe, any thoughts on director's commentary on past shows in the future? Be cool to look back and talk about. This is something that I've talked to Joe about a little bit. I love director's commentary on DVDs when that was a thing. Love it. And I used to watch the same movies over and over again with the director's commentary. I am not sure if you people would be that interested in our commentary, if it would be that interesting to you. If it is, that's something we'll consider doing in the future. And that might just be something that we do as an exclusive or something like that. I do not see the YouTube audience at large being interested in that at all. Not at all.
But you never know.
But you never know.
You never know.
The possibility is there. All right, I'm going to do last call in a minute, JoJo.
Okay. I had something else here real quick. So, PCX, Joe, EDP, and myself want you to get a Just the Foot shirt. Just the Foot. Lord.
Ugh.
We wonder why we're not taken seriously in the Bigfoot community.
Red brought up a controversial issue. Red said, I would like to say the video a year or two ago with the one jumping from the trees was definitely Class A for Dogman or Bigfoot. Definitely wasn't a monkey or a gorilla. That was Jumpergate.
Jumpergate.
That was a...
It was a leaf. It was a turkey. It was a baby Bigfoot. It was a baby Dogman. It was an elf. We have heard everything under the sun.
It was a little person with a backpack.
A little person with a backpack. That's the elf thing I was thinking. Yeah, but it was we have literally... And
we've heard
we have lost like acquaintances. I won't say friends over because I don't know what it is.
We've been disowned over.
I don't know what it is, but we've been disowned because
I call it Jumpergate.
People get so upset that we won't say
Bronwyn, not a leaf.
That we won't agree with them about what it is. I don't know what it is because I looked at it and I was just going, it's a weird forced perspective. And we picked this up and then I watched it slow down and I watched how it seems to go from a branch and then get on a thin tree and then the tree bends. And it rides it down. And then I go back to this.
I could do a better analysis.
I would have heard the damn thing. Shouldn't I? Shouldn't I have heard it? Whatever it was going on, I should have heard it. I didn't hear anything. I only caught it because I panned the camera back around a little bit. And before anybody goes, oh, you should have a camera on the backpack, on the back of your backpack. Wouldn't have worked in that area. It's too hilly. It's
Infamous
too wooded.
jumper gate. Yep.
But it is just, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, it was 3 Bigfoot in a trench coat. I lost that. There we go. It was 3 Bigfoot in a trench coat. So
Oh,
anyway,
God. That was such a jumper gate was such a ding. I was talking to Joe about this yesterday. I honestly want to go back, take that raw footage, and see if I can do a better analysis of it now, because I'm way better at I'm way better at using the editing software, that maybe I can zoom in better. I don't know if we can mine some more information out of Jumpergate and finally get an answer. Now, what am I going to do if it is just a leaf floating?
I don't know.
All of my hopes and dreams are dashed. But
here's the deal: we
would know.
We didn't even really make a big deal out of it. Other people saw it and started to question us about it, and then we were like, "All right, we'll look at it."
We didn't even see it. The people told us about it in the video. We didn't see it to begin with.
And I went back onto a reviewing footage, like just marathon after that.
Yeah,
just looking at stuff. But I don't know, man. I mean, we've had other people capture stuff that we see things that on our footage that we didn't notice before.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we have seen something and we have gone, I don't know what that is. Put it in the video. Don't bring any attention to it. See if people will organically notice it, and then see what people think. And that way we're not like prejudice, any sort of like prejudice with what you think. We're not telling you that there's something there, or if it is, what we think about it. Some of the stuff's really obvious, and we do, but other times we'll leave stuff on there and just say, organically see what people think about it. That was not the case with the jumper or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
That was just something that somebody pointed out, and we kind of dismissed it. And then when other people kept pointing it out, we
looked closer and went, "Oh my God!" Because I saw that tree moving, and I'm telling you, how many hours I spent watching that over and over and over and over. Jeff Matlow says it's Todd State.
Oh, I'm sorry. Saban said it looked like a Yeti had relationships with a sugar glider. All right.
Poor sugar glider. Jeff Matlow said Todd standing jumping in the tree. Come be on my show.
Yeah, not priming the pump, essentially. No, because some of the stuff we look at and we're just going, this might be something. This might also be, again, we're out in the woods looking for weird stuff. It's easy to all of a sudden start interpreting everything that happens as weird, as something weird. And you sometimes have to take a step back and try to be critical of it and try to think of it. But then here's the thing: when you go like, some of these things we're catching on thermal, they're not regular animals. If they're people, they're big naked people.
Yeah.
So, but you have to kind of take a step back for it. And sometimes you think something's weird and it ends up being mundane, It ends up being easily explained at that point. It's just the explanation wasn't apparent to you at that moment. So anyway. Fantastic. So we're going to be wrapping it up here in a moment,
I think we're going to wrap it up. If you guys got anything else you want to throw out there, let us know.
And, let us know what you think about the thermal. Nutslap thinks it's a deer. And here's the deal. I don't think it's a deer. It doesn't look like the deer we normally see, but we didn't see what it was. Yeah. So we can't definitively say yes or no what it was. Maybe Nutslap's right. Maybe it's all deer.
Kurt?
Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But it's not something we look at we run thermal a lot, a whole lot. And we look at wildlife on thermal, A, because it allows you to know what wildlife looks like on thermal. B, it's really cool just watching stuff.
My favorite thing is seeing little mice just bouncing around through the woods.
Yeah. So
Kurt Schlichting asks, do you believe people when they say they've communicated with Sasquatch?
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I am open to it for sure. For sure.
They're communicating with something.
Definitely. I mean, I don't know if I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. Everything is so open-ended when it comes to the subject. You don't know. Nobody has any solid information.
All right. That's like deer for the win.
Deer for the win.
So
I'll change the title of the episode.
Deer Gate. There you go. Now
we're in Jumper Gate, Deer Gate.
Yep. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. There's a good possibility we'll be coming live from the field this weekend.
Mhm.
There is a real good possibility that Jesse is going to have out just this preliminary investigation video, really
Probably
about
Friday.
yeah, and it's a standard. It's too early to tell about this area. The guys were on an old forest road. There's two of them in a car, and they came around a corner, and there's Bigfoot in the middle of the road, looks at them, and then dives off to their right, wasn't it?
Mhm.
So to their right and goes into the woods. So we were able to get down there, but we were able to get down there really quickly afterwards,
We're just out there
really
doing a little
quickly.
boot scooting and a Bigfoot.
Dodging the storms and everything like that. And we were
Oh
down
my
there.
God, my boots.
We came out covered in like red mud, clay mud. It was nuts.
I had to take a trash bag, throw my boots in a trash bag. They were probably 10 pounds extra each with the
Yeah.
amount of mud just caked onto them. But it's weird and beautiful out there.
Yeah, so we'll see how it is. So it's a preliminary scouting video. We find
Swampy.
some interesting stuff, but it's like I said, we're probably not going to do a premiere with it. We'll probably just release it, just so you can kind of see. And it's too early to tell. This area might end up. It's not as interesting as Blackthorn. I'm gonna tell you that right now. At least the way
So
it goes
far,
right now.
no.
So
But
far,
it's really cool, and we find a lot of cool
you got to
prints.
diversify. You can't get too tied into one area. So so we'll see, but she might have that out this weekend, before this weekend, and then you might see us go live this weekend.
Dooster, do not post a link in the book to the Help and Holler Discord channel. Do not do that.
Yeah.
Do not do that, Dooster.
But anyway, so we are wrapping it up. Grace, thank you so much. Have a great week, everyone.
Yep. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. You are awesome. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you. Keep an eye out. Keep your notifications on. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel and you have your notifications on. Because we might go live this weekend
Yeah.
and everything.
If you don't mind, give us a like before you leave out.
Make sure you hit that like button.
help the channel. And
If
help
you
the
like the
video.
channel and like the videos and like what we're up to, make sure you share the show with your friends. Tell people about it. That's the best way for us to grow. And if you want to support this project and get extra content, extra interactions, extra cool stuff and discussion, you can always become a member for members exclusive content. The link is on our page. There's a lot of cool stuff there, and it's become a really cool community. What?
Make sure you still subscribed. YouTube has been going through some changes lately.
Changes.
And people are being unsubscribed, subscribed.
We've been subscribed to some random
Weird,
channels.
random stuff that I'm going, did you subscribe to this? She's like, I don't even know what that is. And then I'm going, I wonder who we've been unsubscribed to that we won't realize it until we just realize we're not seeing their stuff anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But thanks, guys. We appreciate y'all. I'm going through here real quick. Just make sure we don't miss anything. Yeah, YouTube's having menopause. But yeah, I'm gonna make some dinner, and I want to look at this jumper cape footage again. I'm not going to sleep tonight. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. Y'all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Good night, Hellbenders. Till we meet again.